What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it is a brand new episode of the Paul James Show tonight. It is our Round 18 preview episode, and Shadu has gotten us off on a spectacular note. A wizard, I'm claiming this myself in this case, is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Awesome quote, and we're going to talk more about movies a little bit later on tonight. This particular film, Lord of the Rings, shouldn't fit in that conversation. Let's get into things. Hi to everyone who's popping in the chat and already getting nice and active. Jackie, I see you. Mark, Ben's there. Shadu's busy. We've got Roaming who's here. And I'm sure plenty others as the show progresses. Looking forward to chatting to all of you about round 18 and our big matchup against the Giants on Saturday afternoon. As Ben has dropped in the chat, please utilize that like button. If you are watching this video, drop a like on it ASAP. It helps get the show out there, whether you are watching it live or after the fact, to far more Cats fans. And we want to reach as many as possible, speak directly to the most committed Geelong supporters on the planet. And got a bunch of you on board right now. Looking forward to chatting to more of you. So please share this video, like it, get the word out there about all the awesome stuff that we are creating. Let's get into the run of show tonight, where, of course, we are going to get into some match selection. There's been a couple changes for the Cats, one change for the Cats this week that we'll discuss. Some changes for the Giants as well. It's going to be really relevant going into this particular matchup on the weekend. We'll preview then the Geelong and GWS game in great depth, go around the grounds talking about the other games of the weekend, including the Brisbane and Carlton game that is being played as we speak. We'll get into some Q&A, we'll do with game of the show, and we'll wrap things up in a very nice, neat package for all of you tonight. Thank you to all of you again who are already there. Amy, who's just popped in as well. Looking forward to chatting to you and everyone else over the course of the night. Let's get into it with one piece of news that has broken today, not related to the Geelong Football Club, but is relevant to the game of football nonetheless. And this relates to a Collingwood fan who's copped a 5-year ban from all AFL and the MCG more broadly, so no cricket or any other events for you either, for some threatening texts that were sent to Michael Voss. No one needs to see this sort of behaviour in any element of life, really. We don't need to be threatening people. I don't care if you think it's a piss take. I don't care if you're dead serious. Don't do it. It's not on. Deservedly, this guy's copped a 5-year ban. Of course, it's a Pies fan, but I've seen so many come out of the woodwork. In fact, there's one bloke with the awful name on Twitter, Mike Cockring, who's daring to suggest that this could never happen from Pies fans. We're above this. We are better than this. We don't do this sort of thing. Bullshit. Bullshit. As that little meme kid would say. Shadu, you say, they won. Why give horrible threats to Vossi? I would say, don't. Why would you threaten anyone regardless? I understand where you're coming from, of course, but why threaten anyone regardless? It's just bullshit behavior that just needs to be stamped out of society, let alone football. And Jackie, you've clearly seen this individual. He's been pretty active today in relation to this. But Pies fans, we could never do this. We are so far above this. No. I've seen you at your worst. You're awful sometimes. But we can't paint with a broad brush. It is not everyone. It's always a minority from any given football club, and every single one of them should hang their heads in shame. I'm sure there's been Geelong supporters who've carried on like this in the past too. Maybe not sending a text to a coach, but let's just treat each other with a base level respect. That's all we can ask for. Amy suggests it should have been a life ban. I'd be okay with it. You're threatening someone, and I don't care how serious or not it was. But I guess the thing that, and this is a spin-off now of this particular conversation, but when it comes to things like bans from venues, it feels like they never really stick, or they're not really enforced properly. And I guess maybe the technology at hand kind of makes that pretty difficult. It's a big stadium. You've got 100,000 people sometimes trying to pour in. And it's pretty easy for people who are undesirables or not allowed to attend to still slip through the cracks. We've seen it with a whole range of different things in the past. I find it hard to enforce, but I do like the idea. And they need to find a way to enforce it. They need to do better. Stu also points out, send it to the MCG anti-social line. What? Life-threatening is it's football. What a donut. Hello, everyone. Good to see you here, Spartacus. Awesome to see you popping in the Discord the last few days as well. And please, if you are watching tonight and you want to reach out beyond just the confines of this show, of course, we've got the chat functionality, as many of you are using right now. We've got, if you're watching this after the fact, again, pop your comments in as well. We'd love to hear from you and we'll happily respond as well. But there is our Discord channel as well. The link is in the show notes, in the description for this video. So go check that one out. Join the Discord. We've got lots of conversation going on there about Geelong, the broader game of AFL, and a whole range of off-topic things as well. There's been cricket conversation. There's been soccer conversation. There's video game, film, music conversations. Everyone's been sharing pictures of their pets in the last few days. Mine are the best. Lots of cool stuff there and lots of awesome conversations with lots of awesome people. So please consider checking out the Discord if you haven't already. All right, let's continue on with our run of show now and get into match selection mode, where there's been there's been one decision here, and another intriguing choice on the emergencies list that we'll kind of talk a little bit about tonight. Firstly, we're talking ins and outs. And of course, the big in is Bailey Smith returning from illness from last week. Mitch Duncan, with an AC joint in his shoulder, is now out, and people have rightly questioned, could this unfortunately be career over for Mitch Duncan, depending on the recovery time. And I believe they're talking about a month. But 1 month then starts putting us really, really close to finals. Could this be it for Mitch Duncan? Keen to hear your thoughts in the comment section there. I've seen a little bit of it on Discord, a little bit on social media, but you guys, I'd love to hear from you in the chat tonight. What do you think? Mitch Duncan, where are we at? Will he manage to reclaim a spot once he is fit and available again? He's been doing some really good stuff for the Cats. I think he's been a great contributor. He obviously had a really unfortunate circumstance with this one too, that he didn't play in the matchup on the weekend against the Tigers, so then rolled into the VFL, and that's where he did his shoulder. If he just did a few runs on the oval afterwards and got his Ks up, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But that's butterfly effect sort of stuff. So it is what it is in that regard. But Mitch Duncan, we're wishing you nothing but the best in your recovery. Hopefully that is nice and soon. Bailey Smith, a really fascinating scenario there. Lots of conversation around him. Lots of stupid accusations, including from old Mike Cockring this week on Twitter, suggesting that there's something a little bit dodgy. Can we just grow up, please? We're looking to stir shit up for no good reason. This guy's a cockhead. Block him if you've got him on, if he's popping up in your Twitter feed, because he's an absolute waste of space and oxygen. That is the ins and outs, though. We'll take a look at our interchange, where we can see Jack Martin, Ollie Henry, George Stevens holding onto his spot, Oisin Mullen and Jack Bowes retaining his place as well, which then leads to an intriguing situation here when it comes to our emergencies. Those emergencies include Jed Buse and Mitch Nevitt, who've been there the last couple of weeks, and Tyson Stengel, who is apparently okay to be an emergency, but not in the starting 23. And of course, understandably, questions have been asked. Well, his fitness wasn't a concern. His form was pretty good. He's now missed for personal reasons. Why isn't he back in the starting 23? Honestly, I haven't heard anything from the club yet that clarifies a reason why. And I'm certainly not going to sit here and kind of wade into bullshit stuff that goes online and suggest that there's anything foul to this. It's just more of a curiosity thing for me, which is, well, fitness I don't think is a concern. Form is certainly not a concern. So if he's available, why isn't he in? It's an interesting one. I'm sure many of you have got your thoughts in the comments, and I'll take a bit of a look at those now. Mark is talking about how he thinks, and welcome to the show, he thinks Mitch will struggle to get back now after surgery. Maybe game over for Mitch, GG. Nice little gaming reference there, should do. But yeah, could be career over. Mitch Duncan is done, but bench warmer possibly. He could be there or thereabouts. As if people want to grow up, they're all nuffies. It's true. Like we're going to get clowns in every aspect of this business, unfortunately. Stengel was mentioned in the presses. Scott says it was about form. Form. Oh, sorry, about the fam. I'm misreading. So I guess, yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe he's there as an emergency so that if it turns out he's available, then boom, he comes in. So I'm not too sure about that. Amy clarifying, Chris Scott said they weren't sure he could definitely play due to family reasons, but will play him if he's available. Right. Okay, cool. There we go. Cultural conventions after a family death, I've seen suggested. If the family thing is okay, maybe he's a laid in. Yeah, okay. That clarifies the whole thing, and all of that makes a lot of sense. And like I said, I didn't think there was anything sus to it, but it was a weird sort of thing. Family makes all the sense in the world. And I guess if he's available, he plays. And so I suppose in that particular scenario, then the question becomes, well, who comes out? And I figure that individual probably is sitting on the bench right now. So then who's it going to be? My gut says I think there's 2 of those 5 that it could possibly be. And I feel like that's Ollie Henry is probably the most obvious one as another forward, and Jack Bowes, who's been kind of on the fringe for a little while now. If I was to have a gut feel, I'd probably say it's Jack Bowes, but I don't say it with the greatest level of conviction. But we'll wait and see. More info to come, I suppose. Continuing on, though, we've got some milestones this week where we, of course, are going to begin by celebrating Jeremy Cameron, who's going to be playing his 100th game for the Cats. Congratulations to Ben as well for not making any typos with this milestone graphic. Jack Bowes will live long in our memory. 100 games for Jeremy Cameron is an awesome accomplishment. And, of course, one of the other really exciting facets of it is that now any children now or in the future who may be into football are eligible as a father-son, father-daughter option for the Cats in the future. And of course, playing Geelong's going to be far more appealing than going to Greater Western Sydney, right? But any of those kids are going to be eligible to either club. So I'm glad that Geelong now has a horse in the race. And if they end up half as talented as their father, then they're going to be exceptional AFL players in the future. All right. Congratulations, Jeremy Cameron. Continuing on with the show there, our injuries and suspensions list is as follows. Tyson Stengel is still listed as personal, but of course, we've just discussed he is on the emergencies list, and we'll see what happens in that regard. Sam De Koning listed as a test, but is now very, very close to a return. Cam Guthrie, 2 to 3 weeks. Mitch Duncan, to be confirmed with his AC joint. Jake Kolodjasny is listed as indefinite. Jai Clark, still listed in the concussion protocols, which is a massive, massive concern for me. Wishing him nothing but the best. Hopefully this is not some significant thing, and maybe there's some other little injury as well that they're managing, and it's not some head trauma. Concussion is, of course, becoming a very, very prominent thing in the game these days. It always was, but now obviously the understanding and the research is there. It's a real worry for Jai Clark, so hopefully he is okay nice and soon. Toby Conway, 1 week. And Ollie Wiltshire listed as concussion protocols as well. I'm seeing some commentary around Brisbane here. I'm just going to take a little sneaky peek at the game against the Blues, and it would be nice to see the Blues compete, mostly to pinch a win and make things a bit easier for us. Not to be. They're down by 19 points at this stage in the game. Notable absentees, I think there's a few. Obviously, we've mentioned Tyson Stengel, Sam De Koning, but you can also toss Ted Closey in there, who's been playing some scintillating football in the VFL at the moment. But it's just so hard to crack that Geelong team right now. Jay Polkinghorne with 4 goals on the weekend, doing amazing things. But as we've discussed a little bit on, I think, Monday's Paul James show, I don't see Polkinghorne getting a game in the seniors this year, despite the fact that he's consistently playing good football. I think he just needs that time for the body and to get really settled into the Geelong system, and maybe gets a crack at it next year. I think it's a little bit too late to be trialing, forwards at this particular point, and marking forwards at this particular point of the year. But who knows? Hopefully, touch wood, that no one goes down and he's not required to step up to the plate in a debut capacity. But a player like that in the wings, it's good for depth. So good on him. Looking forward to seeing what he can offer us in the future. We've then also got the opposition, who this week have made themselves a couple of changes. And I'm going to project my screen now, and we'll take a look at the ins and outs for the Giants, where 2 big ins and have occurred for the Giants. Jesse Hogan, who kicked 7 on us last time, and Lockie Whitfield, who's just a ball magnet, are both returning to the team, with James Leake and Max Gruzewski? Mike Wazowski. Max Gruzewski being outs this week, and Lockie Whitfield will be playing his 250th AFL game this weekend, should he remain on the field for the game itself. He has been listed on the halfback flank, so you'd imagine that You'd imagine he's going to play. You would think. What I don't want to hear, and what I'm going to get out of the way now, is old mate.
Направление? Какое направление?
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty giants.
I don't want to. I hate the losses. Sorry, we lost audio for a second there. I hate the losses to the Giants, but every single time we hit post-game live, that video is going to go on. We just have to embrace the fun and games of that clip and the GWS song and the memes and the social media stuff. It's all a good laugh. I have a great time with it. And hopefully, though, we don't hear it at the end of the game. Mark is kind of slipping into match preview mode a little bit here, but if the Cats bring the pressure to the on balls like they have been, then delivery into the forwards will be a lot harder for the Giants. I think it is really, really important. You're 100% right. That is one of the most important aspects of this game. And if we can execute in that area, we're going a long way towards beating the Giants this weekend. All right. Let's now shift to match preview mode as the AFL website starts to chug a little bit. Magnus says, I can't deal with playing the Giants. Thank God it's on KO, so I can't watch it. I loved all the memes on the lead up to the 2019 grand final. So good. I mean, they did an amazing job of just getting people on the anti-Richmond bandwagon and the pro-GWS bandwagon going into that grand final. It's a shame their players put up a half-assed effort, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed every single bit of that campaign. There are so many of their clips that I've still got saved on my phone that I would happily go and check out at any given point. They are their social media team is the absolute pinnacle of the AFL. And well, yeah, hopefully they've got nothing to dunk on us. Ben, this is a big warning before we go any further. This is a big warning to Ben Reeve. Last year, you got your ass cheeks clapped by the GWS social media team because you made that stupid comment about saving 5 seats for the GWS fan club, and they remembered it and they clipped you out. And my socials, mine, just because I'm part of the Hoops crew, were getting destroyed because of your smart ass comment. All these Giant supporters and a whole bunch of others coming out of the woodwork, taking cracks at us for your stupid comments. So no stupid behavior this week, Ben. All right, let's get back to match preview mode. So the game, 4:15 at Energy Stadium or NG Stadium. I don't even know how you pronounce that company. NG Stadium, 4:15 Saturday, the 12th of July. We are now just under 1 day and 20 hours away from the first bounce. This is the first time that we've visited the ground since 2020, which is really interesting. 18 degrees and sunny is the forecast as we speak. I love. Sorry, we're seeing a few comments there. Maybe we need a GWS night. No GWS nights. No, we need a win, and then we can play all the clips. Then we can have a lot of fun. It doesn't matter. It all feels good, but we need a win first. Let's not plan anything else. Geelong is going to be wearing, as we spoke about on Monday in the Paul James show, they're going to be wearing the navy blue clash strip, which does look pretty good, to be fair. GWS will be wearing its Indigenous strip for the weekend. And in recent form, Geelong are now 4th on the ladder, 11-5, and won 6 of their last 7 games. GWS 8th, 10-6, and have won 5 of their last 6 games. So both teams in very, very good form right now. And, I don't like that going into this matchup. I would much rather the Giants be struggling. But now they're 5 from their last 6. Their big key forward, arguably, I know Jez is in front, but arguably the best key forward in the game right at this very minute, returns. Lockie Whitfield is no mug either. And they've getting a whole lot more dangerous before this matchup. So I'm a bit anxious. But of course, we're not playing them at GMHBA where they've beaten us 3 times in a row now. So maybe that's the circuit breaker we need. The last time we played, as I said, they've beaten us the last 3. GWS by 4 points at Kardinia Park. The last 3 have all been settled by a margin less, 7 points or less. So they've been tight ones, and in all of these cases, the game could have gone either way at any given point. And hopefully this weekend it tips in the favour of the Cats. For Geelong in that last game, Bailey Smith had 35 disposals and 10 tackles. Max Holmes with 30 disposals and 6 clearances. Brian Myers had 23 disposals and kicked the 1 goal. While for the Giants, and it's the big thing that we've got to do this weekend, is stop old mate Jesse, who kicked 7 goals from 22 disposals. Tom Green had 37 and kicked 1, and he's absolutely in all-Australian form. Lockie Whitfield had 30 disposals and 3 tackles. So let's talk about the stakes in this particular matchup, because I think, we can talk about the ins, the outs, the changes, the emergencies. We'll see what happens in all of these spaces. But really, it's down to, what are the stakes? What matters to both teams here? The Giants, it's really important for them they get this win. If anyone, and if you haven't checked out my ladder finals prediction video that I put together the other day, please make sure to go do so. I went through every game, inclusive of the one that's being played right now, all the way through to the end of the finals. Cats win the grand final. But I looked at every single matchup and messed around with some of the combinations and permutations of those as well, especially some of the stuff around the Giants, and this game being the real danger game for us as well, to see what that would do for the Giants and for the Cats. For the Giants, this could be the game that determines whether they make the finals or not. They do have a really big matchup against the Swans too, the old battle for the bridge, or the Sydney Smash, as I think I called it earlier in the year, or whatever I called it, the Western Smash. I don't know some stupid name. But for them, this could be one of the 2 big games that determines whether they make the finals or not. So they got a lot to play for. The Cats, this could also be a game that determines whether we make top 2 or not. And so we need to bank those wins wherever we can. If we can get this one, I think there's 2 genuinely challenging matchups for the rest of the year. This one and the Swans, who are playing like top 8 teams right now, even though they're probably not going to make it at this point. The mountain they've got to climb is probably too big. They've got to win every single game from here on in, essentially. But they're a dangerous team. So we need to bank that win this weekend. Top 2 is on the line for the Cats. Top 4 technically as well. The top 8 shot is on the line for the Giants. So the stakes are very, very high for both teams. My final prediction, though, for this game, Cats by 2 goals. It's not going to be a big margin. It's going to be tight. But Cats by 2 goals. And as Magnus brilliantly highlights, and we didn't discuss, but I completely forgot about this. It's been on the mind all week, but I completely forgot this. Sam Taylor, the best key defender in the competition right now. He's out. Hopefully Jezza can get off the leash a little bit. If I bring up those lineups, they don't bat as deep in that key defense. Oh, geez, things are a bit slow on the AFL site right now. They do not bat as deep in defense, and with Sam Taylor out, that makes a big, big difference. So hopefully Jezza can kick 4 or 5 minimum, ideally. And Shannon Neal can have a big breakout game against a high-quality opposition. I know he's had a few breakout games this year, but the Giants for me are one of the really serious top-end teams. Hopefully those 2 can have big days. The Smalls get busy as well, and we can get ourselves a minimum 2-goal win. What's Spartacus got to say here? Because there's some comments here that seem... Mark, they're good. They're really entertaining, especially when they mess up. Piss off, you can't be doing that in the final. Yes. Jeremy Cameron, that James Brayshaw line of commentary is absolutely fantastic. I don't think him, a bit like Brian Taylor, I don't think they really suit the Channel 7, the televised commentary scene, but geez, they're good on radio. The Triple M commentary is dead set brilliant. Not as Shadou's saying, and we've already spoken about it again, please make sure to like this video if you haven't already. Spartacus has jumped on it. And everyone else, if you're watching right now, please drop a like on this video. It helps get our content out there to more people. All right, that is the match preview done now. And before we go any further, we need to take a word from our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops crew and all we get up to. Spartacus just piling in there on the comments around James Brayshaw and Brian. They are wild on radio. For years, I would listen to the radio with the TV muted. It doesn't work as well logistically these days, especially with the kids running around the house. Some of the screaming and shouting and ranting and raving that goes on is not necessarily, and not that they're swearing all the time. Every now and then they do. You know, the Brian Taylor commentary of the goal in the 2016 grand final springs to mind. But I don't need a big fuck being blasted across the house. But it's always good value. And whenever I get a chance to listen to some Triple M commentary, I make sure to do so. It's good fun. Shout out to our friends at K-Rock, though, who do an awesome job as well. Some of the analysis, some of that extra understanding of just how the Cats themselves work is also very much appreciated. And it's a unique benefit that we have as Cats fans as well, that we've got a station that's pretty much solely focused on us and really understands us as a club more intimately than everyone else. All right, let's get into the other games of the round, because there are a few, including the one being played right now. We've already spoken a little bit about this. Carlton and Brisbane are playing right now. That is a war that's continuing to be waged, and to the great credit of the Blues, they're not getting blown out. They're still staying within arm's reach. They are down by 18 points right now, about halfway through the second quarter, but they are keeping their noses in it, so good luck to them. Hopefully they can pinch a win. Gold Coast play Collingwood in the first Friday night game that Gold Coast have ever had at People First Stadium. And geez, it'd be nice if they bumped off the Pies as well. Don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see how it all plays out. The Dogs and the Crows play off Saturday afternoon, as do the Giants and the Cats, as we've discussed. Richmond and Essendon on Saturday night. Fremantle and Hawthorn Saturday night at, interestingly, TMNT Stadium. Ben, I know what you're going for. And Sunday, Melbourne and North Melbourne play at the MCG. St Kilda and Sydney are at Marvel. And at Adelaide, Port Adelaide and West Coast battle it out. So those are your matches of the round. There are some milestones to discuss. We've obviously mentioned Lockie Whitfield already with his 250th game. Nick Vlauston from Richmond, who should really have gotten rubbed out for that high hit on Danger on the weekend, will be playing his 250th game as well. On the VFL side, we've got a curtain raiser before our Geelong and GWS game, which is Geelong and GWS. Energy Stadium at 12:15 p.m. on Saturday. The opening act to the big one in the afternoon. Hopefully the weather is okay and the ground doesn't get chopped to bits. On the VFLW side of things, Geelong plays Sandringham at Trevor Barker Beach Oval Saturday at 2:05, because, of course, our scheduling is horrible. Why do we keep doing this? Why does it have to overlap with the VFL men's? Why does it have to continue to overlap with the AFL men's? Give the girls the time and space to thrive. Jesus, it's driving me mad. But from here, it is player spotlight time. And Ben hasn't got any graphics for me, so I'm gonna stall for a second while I get myself an image here that we can at least just pin to the screen and use to kind of celebrate the bloke a little bit. But we are going to talk all about Jack Martin, who started to play some pretty damn good football for the Cats in the last couple of weeks since he's really started to work his way into the season. Just looking for an image that's of the right format so it'll play nice. Come on. That'll probably do. We'll see what happens. Present image. Where is it? Where did it get saved to? Nope, doesn't like that format. Anyway, we're going to continue to talk. I'll try and get an image up while we go, but we're going to talk about Jack Martin, who's really starting to thrive in the Geelong system over the course of the last... Does it like this format? I hate the internet these days. Everything's a WebP or whatever an AVIF format is. Shitty formats. Come on. Here we go. We got ourselves a JPEG. Finally, the most common, the most basic file format. We finally got one. Now. Oh, now it's just StreamYard being shit. Oh my God. There we go. Horrible platform. Ben, we'll make the change soon enough. Anyway, Jack Martin, former Sun, former Blue, now Cat, has been starting to light it up for the Cats in the last couple of weeks. He's really starting to find some touch off half back and do some really, really good things. So let's paint the picture here a little bit. He's the 1,118th individual to ever don the hoops. He's now 30 years old. He's played 12 seasons, 155 games, and kicked 134 goals. He's presented in 2 finals now, both for the Blues in 2023. This is still not playing nicely. There we go. Something going wrong there. He's played. There we go. Sorry. Now we got. There we go. One prelim final. He's played in the one elimination final, both in 2023. He's getting there. The only Spartacus nails. He's the only Carlton player who's thriving at the moment. He was drafted in 2012. This was the mini draft ahead of the Gold Coast coming into the competition. Came from Claremont in WA in the Waffle. And honestly, I'd kind of expected that he might go back there at some point. There's always that draw to kind of go home, and he hasn't done it. He's gone Queensland to Victoria and then the coast of Victoria. And hopefully he ends this year as a premiership player. He was ineligible to play for Gold Coast in 2013 due to his age, but debuted in round 1 2014 against Richmond and got injured within the first 5 minutes. I remember that. That was an awful situation. The prize pick that waited for 12 months and then boom, down. Really shitty circumstance for him. His career highs, 30 disposals, 3 goals, 12 marks, 3 goal assists, and 10 tackles. And we're starting to see some numbers that are scratching close to that. I think his 4th highest disposal count was this past weekend against the Tigers. He wears the number 19 these days. There's been 21 capped players wear the number 19 over the years, and some prominent ones, but also some concerns here around that number. George Todd played 232 games and won 2 premierships. Neville Bruns, 223 games. Joe Slater with 108 games. Matty Egan was an All-Australian, but his career was cut short with injury. And then others who've worn it, in recent years especially, haven't really worked out, from Jack Stevens to Mitch Clark and Mitchell White. Hopefully, Jack, he started pretty strongly. Hopefully, Jack can buck that trend and can, as I said before, be a premiership player as a Cat, go on to play 50, maybe even 100 games, and end his career really strongly in the hoops. Jackie's just kind of, Matty Egan. What a sad situation that is for Matty Egan. All-Australian, plantar fascia, career over. Awful. And Horacio's just mentioned Derek Hall. That's also a fantastic recommendation. Did forget about Derek Hall. But I'm working with what Ben's provided me here. So again, Jack, good luck. Hopefully you can bank yourself a win this weekend and continue to surge towards finals. We look forward to seeing you in the hoops now and for the next few years. And we are motoring through this show tonight, so it is time to jump across to some Q&A. And a bit of trivia. So let's kick that off a little bit here. I need to clear some graphics now, and then eventually I'll have to come back and reload game of the show because, hang on, the Blues have kicked another goal. They're only down by 2 goals right now. Keep it up, you good things. Who's doing the damage? 2 goals to Mark Pitney. Sorry, what? Zach Williams with 1, Orazio Fantasia with 1, Corey Durden, Paddy Cripps with 1. Huh. Go, you good things. Sorry, Matty Egan was in navicular. Sorry, not plantar fascia. Thank you for clarifying. Right, let's begin with a little bit of trivia. Which GWS player kicked the match-winning goal against Geelong in round 11? Ben, what are you doing? But who was it that kicked the match-winning goal against the Cats in round 11? Of course, it's not that far ago. It isn't that long ago, that actually occurred. Let me know who it was that... hang on. Ben's got his years messed up. round 11, 2024. Who was the player who kicked the match-winning goal? For the Giants, I should say, of course. It wasn't Toby Green, but he was a huge architect in the whole final quarter surge from the Giants in some of these games. Like, he's been really problematic for us in the final terms. But and this is specifically round 11, I'm going to double check the timeline here because Ben, you've given me shitty. Did he get his rounds, his seasons wrong? Lions kicked a goal. What round did we play them in earlier this year? I'm going to check to see if Ben didn't screw it up. Hint, he probably did. What round did we play him in this year? Round 9? And then we'll check the timeline. Okay. He got round 11 from last year mixed up with round 9 from this year. He's talking about round 9. Toby Green is the correct answer from last year. Who was it this year? We, of course, know that Mark Blitzarves missed that shot that could have won us the game, but who was the one from the Giants that kicked the goal that gave them the lead? This is why we can't get Ben to do any work for this show. Like, he's just... And it wasn't Jesse Hogan, Spartacus. Jesse Hogan kicked 7, but he did not kick the final goal. Blame Paul. Jake Riccardi was the player. I'll quickly throw that out there. Jake Riccardi was the one to kick the final goal for the Giants in that matchup against us. Mark Blitzarves then had a shot 4 minutes later. But Jake Riccardi was the one to kick the goal that put the Giants back in front. And yeah, we couldn't quite win it back from there. Next bit of trivia. Hopefully... Oh, okay. Jeremy Cameron, obviously one of those unique cats that's played for both the Giants and the Cats. Ben didn't give me a list of players this week. He's really, really off the boil tonight. Didn't give me that list of players who've been representing both clubs. Are you okay, Ben? Anyway, how many goals has Jeremy Cameron kicked against Geelong? Obviously, we know he's been a Cat and he's kicked plenty of goals for the Cats, but how many has he kicked against us over his years as a Giant? Keeping in mind that we've been a pretty solid team through that period, so he hasn't been able to really get onto the end of big bags. Mark says 32. Jackie says 24. You are both too high. Spartacus at 15. You are slightly too low. Mark at 18. You are slightly too high. I'm confirming that this is legitimate. It is. Horatio, your first 17 goals, 8 Jeremy Cameron has kicked against the Cats. So far in his games as a Cat against the Giants, he's kicked 12 goals, 9 from 4 fewer games. So he's performing better as a Cat against the Giants than he was as a Giant against the Cats. But we were one of those teams that, he wasn't necessarily thriving, I suppose, in matchups against the Cats. 17 was the answer, though, from Horatio. All right, next question is, how many games did Stevie J play against Geelong? Of course, a former Cat, then eventually a Giant. How many games did Stevie J play against us? And of course, he had some pretty good moments against us too. Jackie says 2. It is higher than 2. Gary says 7. There's fewer than that. Spartacus says 32. Definitely not 32. Mark says 3. Higher than 3. Ben says 1. Ben knows the answer. He's wrong. Get out of here. The answer is not 1, just to be clear. Russia says 3. Assuming Ben hasn't given me dodgy answers again, the answer is not 3. But I am going to look this up. Just to confirm, because I don't trust him now. Okay, his data's correct. Gary's jumped in with 4. 4 is the correct answer. He played 2 seasons for the Giants, 2016 and 2017, and he played against the Cats twice in both of those seasons. And his output, just for a bit of perspective here, 4 games. He kicked 4 goals, 2. He even had a hit out. He even had a hit out against the Cats. That's how well our ruck situation was going back then. We love you, Stevie J. All right, next one. Who was the caretaker coach of GWS in 2022? So obviously they changed hands for a little while there. But who was the caretaker coach for the remainder of season 2022? Spartacus drops Stevie J time. It's cash or credit. Of course, please ignore Ben. You'll do a great job of that at the best of times. Let's ignore Ben. Spartacus is just having a laugh at Stephen King. He used to play. He has a twin brother. He used to play for the Kevin Sheedy was there at one point, not the caretaker in 2022 though. He used to play for the Bombers. There we go. Spike McVeigh. Mark McVeigh was the caretaker coach at the end of 2022. Amy's nailed it. Next one. Tom Hawkins has played 16 games. Oh, sorry, had. His career's over now. Had played 16 games against the Giants. In those 16 games, how many goals did he kick? The big tomahawk. Now, of course, we've got some favourite goals of Tom Hawkins. That one that he booted off the ground from outside 50 and it went through. One of the best goals I've ever seen. One of the best goals of his career for sure. But how many goals did Tom Hawkins kick across all of his games for the Cats against the Giants? Mark says 40. Mark says 48. Jackie says 64. You are both slightly overshooting. Gary says 39, a little bit too low. So too low for Shadu, too low for Jared. I'm confirming this myself just to hang. Ben Reeve. Thankfully, no one has shouted out the right answer yet. Hang on, I'm going to double check. Tom Hawkins played 16 games against GWS. How many goals did he kick? The answer you've provided me is again wrong. How many games did he play? Let's double check that he got the number of games right. He also has only played 15 games against the GWS Giants. This bloke. Tom, I'm gonna reword the question and we'll hit start. We'll start again on that one. Horatio has just nailed the answer. 36 from 15 games. We love you, Tom Hawkins. Ben. So sorry, Jackie, you are confused. Understandably so. Ben's having a great laugh, but he genuinely puts these notes together. And then apparently just has no clue what he's doing. So I'm reading it on AFL tables right now, which has got a record of every single one of Tom Hawkins's games. It's got a like opponent by opponent breakdown. He played the GWS Giants 15 times, 8 wins, 1 draw, and 6 losses. And in that time, he kicked 36 goals, 21. Harashi also jumps in. 15 is correct. Yeah. So, sack Ben. Hashtag sack Ben. Oh, I didn't even. That's better. So actually, to Jackie's point, so you're surprised that he didn't have a better record. Let's keep in mind that I guess the Giants went with a very different approach to the Suns out the gate, where they locked in a key defender straight away. They got Phil Davis across right as he's entering his peak, so he didn't get to fill his boots like some might have against brand new teams back in the day. He copped pretty decent opponents straight out the gate. Phil Davis is an excellent defender, so obviously there's plenty of opportunities, but Phil Davis is a fantastic defender. Next question. Hashtag Ben to bed. Yeah, send him. Which GWS player missed the team song in a dramatic victory over Geelong in 2024 as they were taking selfies with fans? Jeez, that's nuanced and specific. I'll give everyone like a minute and a half, 2 minutes with this one before I just throw the answer out there, because that's a difficult one. Which GWS player missed the team song in a off the back of a dramatic victory over Geelong in 2024 as they were taking selfies with fans? Not as hard as it seems, apparently. Jackie has the right answer. Giddy. Leek Alir is the correct answer there. Toby Green wouldn't make such a mistake. Jack Ginnivan, apparently. And our last bit of trivia here, before we jump into some more conventional Q&A and then game of the show, is how many games did it take for Jake Kolodjasny to kick his first AFL goal? Finally, a Geelong-centric question. How many games did it take for Jake Kolodjasny to kick his first AFL goal? Bonus points if you can tell me what round of what year. Flash Movie Trivia says 98. It is higher than 98. It is higher than 108. It is higher than 112. Jackie, you're right. It's in 2021. So there's half a point to you. You've got the correct year. We, of course, lost this game because it was the Jake Kolodjasny curse. Jared says 124. You are very close. You are the closest to the pin so far, but not quite right. Jackie says 148. Incorrect. He has kicked 2 now. Yeah, and I think was the other one against St Kilda? I think it was St Kilda at GMHBA a couple of years ago. Jared says 126. Still closest to the pin. Not quite. Even closer than what you were before. So I'll let Jared or someone else quickly spit out the next number to get the correct answer there. But if someone can tell me Gary's overshot, and so is Jared. Horatio with 127 gets the correct answer there using that Google machine I see. 127 for Jake Kolodjasny, and the round was round 21, 2021. And now for some Q&A. What's this one? So first one is, and it was against the Giants in 2021. Name a bad movie that you love. What is a genuinely bad movie that you love? What would it be for me? I've got an answer for the next one. I actually didn't notice this initial one. So Flash pops up with Showgirls. I don't watch many movies. So when I do, I don't really have a good answer for this one. I don't watch many movies. So I'm pretty specific about what I go and see, simply due to the fact that if I'm going to watch a movie, I want to make sure it's something I'm going to like or that is reportedly good. So that's a bit of a... Gary says Australia. Shadu says basketball, Killer Tomatoes. Basketball's popped up again. The B movie, Showgirls. Define bad. I don't know. Ben came up with the question. What is considered, what popular opinion would determine is a bad movie, but you like it? Like if you ask someone about any one of these movies, for example, that have been mentioned, and the prevailing theory is that's a shit movie, but you're like, no, but I like it. Yeah, I don't really have an answer for that one. I do have an answer for the flip side of this question, which is name a movie that you hate, but most people love. So it's the reverse here. You dislike something that the popular opinion says is good. And I'm going to put this one out there before anyone else jumps in. Napoleon Dynamite is a turd of a movie. I hate that shit. It is not funny in any way, shape, or form. And I love myself a bit of dry humor, sarcasm. Shit movie. Really shit movie. People seem to enjoy it, though. I don't understand. Forrest Gump and Mad Max have popped up. Gary's mentioned Mad Max. Jackie and Spartacus have both dropped Forrest Gump. The Notebook. Hated the female character, which has then upset Spartacus, apparently. Shadu's agreeing with Mad Max. Does anyone echo my sentiment on Napoleon Dynamite? Is there anyone really upset by my take on Napoleon Dynamite? Or does just no one care about Napoleon Dynamite? Because if you don't care about the movie, then you're on my side. Horatio just dropped Titanic. Just dropped a massive bomb. You haven't heard of it, Jared? Oh, don't waste your time. That's fine. It's a good thing. Napoleon Dynamite is weirdly a really popular movie, but it's awful. Maybe go check it out, and because that's just my take. I dislike it, but the consensus is that it is very funny. I just didn't enjoy it in the slightest. Shadu says that you don't like anything involving Adam Sandler. Oh, I am. I mean, Happy Gilmore is my second favorite movie. I'm not saying it's the second best movie I've ever made. It's my second favorite movie of all time. And I'm so sure that this Netflix sequel that's coming out soon is going to be awful, but geez, I can't wait to watch it. I cannot wait to watch it. A lot of the modern Adam Sandler stuff I've not really been that crazy about, whether it's kind of comedies or even dramas, especially some of the dramas, they're pretty poor. But that golden era of kind of late 90s with Happy Gilmore, with Billy Madison. Jackie's just jumped in, Wedding Singer. You can go put Anger Management in there as well. There's some absolute bangers from that period. And that was it for the Q&A stuff. So Ben has not provided... Oh, sorry. Oh, this is a stupid one. I don't even want to read this out. Adam Sandler was trying to be a less funny Ben Stiller. That's a take. Ben has asked, will Isaac Kako win the Coleman Brownlow Norm trifecta in 2025 now that he's won himself a Rising Star nomination? Since they're giving him everything, apparently, rather than our mate George. Obviously, the answer is no. But if Ben was a bit too busy getting his trivia right and not wasting his time with stupid questions like that at the end, we'd have a better show. All right. If you've got other questions, please feel free to start using that comment section, and we'll make sure to go through those shortly. But we are going to toss across now to that's a good one. I'll jump to this one before we jump to game of the show. How many games will George Stevens play this year? So he's already notched up his first. We're going into round 18. So we've got 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. He's got 7 games for the rest of the year, home and away ahead of him. I'm going to back him in that he's going to continue on with this form, which then will make him really hard to remove. Gary's just dropped us just a little side swipe at Cam Guthrie, who's obviously struggling with injury at the moment. More than Cam Guthrie. Ben, Essendon needs anything at all Australian, please. More than Cam Guthrie. I would say that he'll play the majority of these remaining home and away games. And if his form is strong enough going into finals, he's going to be hard to knock out. Do I think he'll maintain it? I'm going to say yes. He's got this sniff at a really good time. So what? He's going to play 8 games in the home and away. So 17 through to 24, 17 through to 24. And then potentially 3 finals. He could finish this year on 11. I hope it's the case. That'd be amazing. Realist in me says no, but there's a bit of me believes the way he plays football stands up at the most important time of the season, and he's shown that he's shown he's up to it. So I'm really excited to see what he can provide us. Now I'm going to get our game of. Oh, do we think Finn Callaghan will be tagged this time? I feel like he's gone a little bit. I could be wrong. This could be just the eye test failing me, or not hearing his name come. I feel like he's gone a little bit quieter as we've moved further into the season. I might take a bit of a look and see. I'm not going to find that now. But yeah, we've got to put some time. I think that very defensive midfield sort of lineup, the Atkins, Mullen, and O'Connor sort of thing that we utilised a few weeks ago, I'd like to see that used again in this sort of matchup and try and squash Callaghan, Green, take away some of those weapons. So I can see other questions popping in from Flash Movie Trivia, from Spartacus. You both asked kind of the same question there. I am going to pin those and make sure that we come back to them. We'll go through our game of the show, then we'll return with a few final questions before we wrap this one up. We are making good time tonight, which is awesome because it is really, really cold in here. So let's get into our game of the show, which is Ghost of Yotai. There is a big showcase coming tomorrow morning showing this game off in a whole lot more detail. And so I'm very keen to introduce a lot of you to it, potentially for the first time. If only this shitty-ass platform would work. I love you, StreamYard.
We are beyond the edge of Japan. People come north to disappear. But you are hunting. And now, every Ronin here is after you. Still think you're the hunter?
And that is Ghost of Yotai. There's a big showcase tomorrow at 7 a.m. And Shadu, as you say, I want to try this game if I ever get time off from WoW. Please just drop World of Warcraft. It's been going for, 25 years? It's time to. I know that there's history there, and I understand and respect that. Just take a week or two off. Go smash out Ghost. Go play Ghost of Tsushima if you haven't already. You'll love it. Flash also says the images in this game are stunning. I would play it just to watch it. I mean, that's half the thing with this game. It looks visually stunning. All right. So I think my computer is turning Japanese. What's going on here? All right. So have you tried, looks good. Have you tried the AFL version, Ghosts of Carlton? I like it. All right. So I want to go back to Spartacus's question before. He said, if we needed to trade a player to fit another, who would we trade? And it has to be in the best 22. Are we saying our best 22? I mean, I guess everyone's best 22 kind of varies, right? And then it depends on who we're trying to get. And is the player that I'm offering going to allow me to get the player that we want? Poor. Because for a lot of these big fish that we've been talking about lately, whether it's Zach Butters or Harley Reid or whoever it happens to be, you're going to have to give up a big fish. You're probably going to have to give up multiple big fish in that scenario. If we're just offloading someone and going, okay, to create room for the big fish, then obviously we're talking about, and I'm already seeing it. Jackie's just dropped by Ollie in there. We're instantly having to consider the likes of Ollie Henry and the Jack Bowes and those sorts of guys who are right on the fringe, but are playing in our 23 most of the time. So yeah, I think those are the sorts of players that have got to go. So, Flash wrote the question first. Sorry, credit to them. Oh yeah, sorry, Flash, you did nail it. Massive shout out to you. You just beat Spartacus in earlier. I think so. I know we can often be a bit flippant about Ollie, and we kind of have been a little bit just now. But there's a real challenge for him in the next little while. Now, of course, we've been talking about the impacts this season with, Paddy Dangerfield being down there and this new forward line blend, and of course his form as well. I do agree with Horatio here. I can't get around the idea of getting rid of SDK. Ruck situation's dire. I think the Rowan Marshall one is obviously that's really flared up the conversation around that again this week. But hopefully, to Shadoo's point, hopefully Conway can come in and do some good stuff. Hopefully his body comes good. But we've been saying this for a while, so I think we need to get someone proven in the door. And then if it turns out that that Conway really does, like, his body comes good and he starts to get that consistency, then that's a win. But I think we have to go chasing a ruckman at this point just to give ourselves that security blanket. But yeah, sorry, when it comes to Ollie Henry one, so he's got I think there's a real challenge ahead of him. Obviously this year it's been a bit of a struggle with the danger thing, and we'll see how long that continues. I think if the Cats were to go and win the flag this year, I could very easily see Paddy Dangerfield piecing out. But beyond that, you've got Jay Polkinghorne, who is that same mid-sized tall forward. So he's not your big high 198s. In fact, I'll double check the Jay Polkinghorne profile here just to make sure I got the numbers correct. But like, he's not that big Shannon Neal, Tom Hawkins, even Jeremy Cameron sort of height. Polkinghorne is number 2. He is 190 centimeters. So he's not huge. He's coming through doing really good things. The Essendon, you're talking about Sam Draper, I'd imagine. You've then got Ollie Henry at 189 centimeters. And I've got a video going live tomorrow morning. And I implore you all right now to go check it out when it goes up tomorrow morning. All about a big opportunity that we've got with the next generation academy pick this year. Jesse Mellor. I've done a little bit of a feature video on Jesse Mellor and what we can perhaps expect, and he fits this mold as well. He's 189 centimeters, the same height as Ollie, got a bucket load of potential, and everything that we're seeing this year is that he's bringing good forward line pressure, which has been one of the big weaknesses of Ollie. Now, he's demonstrated some good stuff in the last couple of weeks since he's returned, and he's needed to. I think he's gotten that feedback, and he's trying to play that game, which is awesome. But it doesn't come naturally to him, whereas we're seeing it from Jesse Mellor, and Jay Polkinghorne is just doing some really, really good stuff. So I think it's going to be a challenge for Ollie Henry in the next couple of years as more players come through who can play that position and create more and more competition for him. So good luck to Ollie Henry. Hopefully he can make it work, because he's a fantastic talent. Maybe it turns out that the forward line isn't actually his go in the end. I don't know. But there's going to be some competition for spots in that mid-sized Ollie Henry, Gary Rowan, that sort of height mold. So we'll see. I am seeing the conversation continue to discuss Sam De Koning, and I just can't buy into that. I can't entertain that in my mind. He's too valuable. The pairing of him and Connor O'Sullivan should sort us for the majority of the next decade, barring injuries, of course. Touch wood. I wouldn't say he's inconsistent at all. I'd say when he messes up, he's problematic with his attitude and his energy, and I think that can get picked up on by others. But I'm all for Sam De Koning. I think he needs to say those two are the future of our key defensive stocks. Another question from Shoes: do you still put your stock in Nevitt? I do. I think like that fairly tall sort of wingman, athletic wingman. I think he's got a lot of qualities there. It feels like his body's not developing or accelerating at the same pace that some others have. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a Zach Guthrie in that respect, but I think he can still be really, really important for us in the future. I think he just needs a little bit more time. He's still accumulating the ball. I do worry he's got that George Holland-Smith sort of problem where he might be right on the fringe and never quite be up to it at AFL level. But I think there's been enough signs there that he can play at this top level, and he just needs to get the opportunity. And opportunity's been the hardest thing for him and several others. It's the big issue that youth faces at the Cats for many, many years. And I hope that he finds some, because I think he's a fantastic player. Key back, whether it's centre half back or full back. And I did see someone else mention their SDK for centre half back. Makes a bit of sense too. I could see Connor O'Sullivan play that deep, like the full back role, and SDK play centre half back, and that would make a lot of sense too. Where are we? He looked good in 22, but the flash in the pan is fading like Tom. No, I don't buy it. I understand where people come from, but I don't quite buy it myself. Nev's contract ends this year, so it'll be interesting to see if they give him another. I think he'll get another. Like it's a pretty inexpensive and safe option, who's demonstrated capability at the level. It just needs opportunity, and when he's not going to cost you a lot of money, and it's a pretty shallow draft from all reports this year, there's no reason to drop him. Go Time AFL's just popped in to say hi, and we're minutes away from wrapping the show up for the night. His back's broken and the Blues don't know how to fix him. Maybe we can get his body right. The problem for Ollie is that Danger has squeezed him out of his position. Absolutely. I've been saying this for weeks. Would pick 15 for Rowan Marshall work, or add another pick? I'd question whether pick 15 is actually too much. Or maybe we offer pick 15, but then we get something back, back in return. I'm trying to spitball ideas here off the top of my head, that maybe pick 15 goes, but then we get pick, 22 or whatever, some like early second round pick back. But I think pick 15 is too much for him. So I think there's got to be some sort of give and take. If 15's on the table, which I don't think it is, but if pick 15's on the table, I think there's got to be some sort of transaction going back the other way in terms of picks, because Geelong will want Jesse Mellor from all reports, and the way he's playing, and he is playing like he's the vice captain of the Falcons. He's playing really good football for Vic Country at the moment. He's going to get drafted. He's a next generation academy player for us. We've not had those really outside of Ted Closey. I think he's going to get a gig. So we'll need to pony up in case we have to bid. So you don't want to get like first round, we can probably get away with it. But after that, we need to be ready. And yeah, I think, trading something back the other way might help. You're only allowed to choose one. Nev, Ted, or George? George. Sam DeConing will probably get 40 disposals and kick 6 goals after I wrote this. Good. It sounds like some real Lucas sort of stuff. We wouldn't need to give up pick 15 for Marshall. Yeah, I agree. Mitch Hardy was a surprise delisting. Oh, you said his name. Look, now the Velas are going to pile in. You wait. The Velas are going to pile in any second now. Could we trade someone for Marshall? It could be a case of like a second round pick and a player. That's absolutely an option. And a lot of people saying George would be the obvious pick right now. And yeah, I think we're all... I know obviously there's a bit of rose-tinted lenses right now off the back of a brilliant game. But yeah, I think George for me as well. We've been banging the same drum, all of us here, for quite some time. The talk out of St Kilda this week is there's already been an agreement between the club and player that Marshall will move on if TDK signs. Yeah, that's... we spoke about that when we did the Marshall video weeks and weeks ago now. That's kind of the how and why this will come to pass. Adelaide is apparently pretty keen as well. So I don't know where Rowan Marshall actually hails from, whether he's Victorian, whether he's South Australian. But Geelong is in that race up to their eyeballs in the event that TDK does in fact go to St Kilda. Now, I'm going to have to wrap things up. It is freezing in here, and my wife actually needs to drive down into town now to go access her shop that she just recently, like she's just started, build her own, like it was taken rent of her own space in our local town, and has a studio space that she's going to be doing a photography work out of. We're all very, very excited, but there's a lot of work that we've got to do at the moment to try and get that all set up. She actually needs to pop down there now. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you all for having popped in, as always, shared your thoughts. You've dropped your likes on the video. You've shared it. You've gotten around all the stuff that we're doing. Very much appreciate it. Thank you for all of your support of all of our Hoops Crew content, from the Paul James Show to Post Game Live to all the other awesome products that we've got going. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. You've all been commenting throughout the course of the night, but if you are watching this after the fact, please don't hesitate to use that comment section. Share your thoughts on everything we've discussed tonight. Again, George, Ted, or Mitch Nevitt, who would you pick? But anything else you want to discuss from tonight, please use the comment section. Be heard, don't hesitate to use the super chat function, as people did the other night. That was a lot of fun. You can find me on socials, Paul James Games. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew is at the Hoops Crew. Thank you to our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for that continued support of all of our content. And you got a big shout out there before. Drop some flower emojis in the chat if you haven't. We kind of forgot that earlier. And there is our Patreon, which I really want to, as always, continue to drive. 50 is the big number for me to do the whole Ninja Turtles pajamas thing, but who cares about that? We are delivering a whole range of extended content. The Chaps Chat Cats is usually like 40 minutes longer for patrons. They've got extended versions of the show. The Twos is exclusive there as well. The Twos is up there as well. The Scratching Post and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So consider checking out our Patreon if you haven't already. There is a 7-day free trial period. And if you enjoy that, it costs $5 a month afterwards to continue to get that content directly emailed to you. So please consider it. That is all for the show tonight. I'll quickly look at the last few comments that have piled in. Cats by 5 this week says go time. Thank you, Gary. Always good having you here. I was still talking about some of the flaws. See you all at Post Game Live. See you soon, Go Cats. Thank you. Thank you for the little shout out for my wife there. I'm so stoked for what she's achieving. I'm incredibly proud. And me, I'm just a humble teacher. I don't have a shop. Thank you, Spartacus, as well. And there's our flower emojis. Thank you, Horatio. Very much appreciate it. All of you, thank you for having tuned into the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Cats by 2 goals is my pick, but let's hope we can do it by more. Let's hope we can bank a win. It'll be good to teach a shop. Sure, let's go with that. But thank you all. As always, it's been awesome to chat to you. Remain Geelong strong. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.